Ladies and gentlemen, they're beginning to worry. The wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats in academia, Hollywood, politics, they're worried that Merrick Garland and the DOJ and Biden's administration will not charge or indict President Trump for trying to commit and lead just atrocious criminal activity. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics because you can't really discuss really anything nowadays. But I've found a way to communicate my thoughts in a very interesting manner, so I'll give you exactly what I think, but in a creative manner. Number one, the mayor of D.C., the attorney general of D.C., the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation the mayor of D.C. and the attorney general did not level or ask the Justice Department to level any charges or indict Trump. That's number one. The director of the FBI has no evidence on Trump. That's number two. Number three is he used the word peaceful, and I agree there shouldn't have been protests that day, but he did not tell anyone, nor did he direct, nor did he plan any criminal activity. They have no evidence on Trump. They accuse Trump of working with Russia. The same people, very intelligent professors of law and foreign policy experts, and they said that he worked with Russia and he was installed by the Kremlin. Well, where's the evidence? Nobody was charged with working alongside a Russian operative. We have $30 billion just in 3 intel agencies to gather, that's the budget, to gather information from the internet, from cell phones, from everything. And they found nothing. They had to purchase a Steele dossier. And now 3 people are indicted the Mueller probe led to nothing. From the Durham probe, special counsel. The Mueller probe and the indictments there were petulant political retribution. Pure malice. They got people on process crimes. Oh, you lied to Peter Strzok. Well, Peter Strzok was even kicked off of the Mueller probe because of bias. Then he was kicked out of the FBI. So was Andrew McCabe. And James Comey said he didn't know who funded the Steele dossier and he was heading that gigantic organization. He knew. They all knew. The Steele dossier was purchased by Madam Secretary and Clinton. They cheated Bernie Sanders, which is actually the biggest part of this whole saga. And they blamed Russia. It was a sleight of hand. They're very good at convincing, deceiving, and you see it right now. Media will turn on a dime. So it was Madam Secretary's going to win. Hillary Clinton's going to easily defeat Trump. And I said she wasn't going to in my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, and you could see on my website. Back then, everyone was convinced. I said that wasn't going to happen, and I was on the left. They said that there's no way that Clinton would lose to Trump. And guess what? Not only did she lose, they had to blame Russia and the Kremlin for installing Trump. They couldn't face reality. So they said, well, he worked with the Kremlin, he was installed by Putin, and he's a puppet of a hostile foreign nation. By the way, hit subscribe to this channel right now. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. That's below in the pinned comment. Tell your friends about that channel, to my new Patreons. I cannot do this without you. It is so difficult nowadays to just speak your mind, but I managed to do it because of your help on Patreon. If you enjoy my work, my Patreon is below to my new Patreons. I thank you. I see that you support my work, and I thank you. That's below in the pinned comment. hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe also to the Stock Market Crash channel, and you can read my latest article in the Federalist on the upcoming stock market crash. It's going to be devastating, unfortunately. $1 trillion in margin debt. And Dodd-Frank hasn't even implemented laws regulating derivatives. It can go on forever. Inflation at a 31-year high. Broken supply chain globally. Labor shortages in key industries. None of this is going to get better. None of this is transitory. But anyway, they have nothing because Trump did not coordinate, orchestrate, plan, devise, tell people to. Watergate was a break-in. It was a burglary. It was Richard Nixon and plumbers, quote-unquote, that worked for him, breaking into the Democratic headquarters in the Watergate building. It was a burglary and then a cover-up. What happened in January was terrible, but they're not going to indict or charge him because he didn't orchestrate or plan or direct anything. And he used the word peaceful. Now, was it wise? No, it wasn't wise. What happened made it more difficult for everyone to actually communicate and speak and express their First Amendment rights. It is more difficult for me to communicate my thoughts on YouTube because of what took place that day. And it's more difficult for everyone to communicate their thoughts on any platform because of what happened that day. And 4 people should be alive today. That woman should be alive today. Of course, Democrats and morally superior, liberal, wonderful people, very much hypocritical when it comes to a whole lot of things. They don't have any evidence. Merrick Garland wouldn't have had to wait for a whole year. He wouldn't have had to wait for a stunt, a political stunt. What Democrats do is they say, we're going to investigate this in Congress. Well, the evidence was already out there. You already had the intel agencies. You already had the local authorities. If there was a crime committed, they would have already charged or indicted President Trump. Believe me, they've been poring over his taxes. They found nothing. They can't indict him or charge Trump over his tax returns. They can't indict him or charge him because he was a Russian operative. They can't do anything with January and Trump because he didn't commit a crime. And guess what? When Hillary Clinton, Madam Secretary, had private servers with top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence that somehow was taken from secure locations and put on those servers, James Comey said, gosh, she didn't mean to do it. Everyone knows there's a double standard. Democrats know, Republicans certainly know, Trump supporters certainly know, everyone knows. And they've convinced the media is very good at bolstering the existing biases of morally superior liberal Democrats. So, you know what? Trump is so corrupt and he's so, well, why don't they charge him? Okay, you could actually charge Democrats and indict Democrats on those types of issues. Private servers with top secret intel. There's a whole bunch of things. Okay, you can go Hunter Biden with literally emails that say, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? The New York Post published them. Of course, it's just suppressed, erased from recent history, and then of course there's so much corruption that we actually it's still a story. Then you have the Durham probe special counsel that's slowly peeling the layers of corruption against Trump, not what Trump committed, which he didn't commit anything that was illegal. He was impeached twice because of the sensibilities of his, based upon the sensibilities of his political opponents. One, he was impeached the first time because he dared. Oh my goodness! He dared ask another country to investigate Biden. Pure as the driven snow, Biden. Meanwhile, mashed potato brains, his brother, his son, the whole family's enriching themselves, and we know this. Trump was already rich, so you can't say that he was using politics. Democrats, they say that, Biden made $10 million from speaking engagements. Have you heard him speak? Have you heard the man speak? He's growling. The Exorcist is more coherent than this man. But anyway, they can't do anything against Trump because he didn't commit a crime. They can't touch him on his tax returns. They can't touch him on January. They can't touch him on working with Russia. And the next hoax or hysterical, apoplectic accusation, they won't be able to touch him either. Okay? Maddow and others, Chris Hayes, they've been wrong on everything for 5 years. Literally everything. I'm usually right on things. I've been wrong on some things. I'm a human being, but I'm pretty spot on most of the things I say. They're wrong on everything. They have not been, the pundits on MSNBC and CNN, Washington Post, New York Times, they have literally not been right on anything. Trump never worked with the Kremlin. We know that to be false. His tax returns aren't the holy grail of corruption. We know that is now nothing. And he's not going to get indicted or charged. Now, if they do try to, I'll say this, if they do end up indicting or charging Trump, it will open up a Pandora's box, because then President Trump, he's been president for 4 years, so he understands, he knows all the skeletons in people's closets or the closet of the government. So they're not going to risk a former president who didn't commit a crime now saying, hey, wait, you know what? Here's what's going on. Here's the deal with mashed potato bread. Here's the deal. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Another failed attempt at trying to indict or charge Trump. And Merrick Garland knows that this would be not only viewed as Democrats going after their political opponents, but now you've set a precedent for going after Bill Clinton, Hillary, President Obama, and others. Give me your thoughts below. If that happens, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below. To my new Patreons, I cannot thank you enough.